Hello guys, I'm a little sick, but we're gonna talk through it anyways. Today we are going to glaze this flower mug. So let's go ahead and take it out of the kiln and see how it came out. Alright, so I think this came out really awesome. These flowers look good. They look like they're holding on too. So let's go ahead and glaze this and see how it looks. Alright, so we're going to do a little voiceover with this video. So this is iron wash, and it is just water and iron oxide mixed together. And I go ahead and paint this on the outside of my mugs because I want it to look like tree bark. So anywhere that's going to look like tree bark, I paint the iron wash. As you can see, like the mushrooms and the flowers and the moss don't get any of this iron wash because I'm going to go ahead and glaze over this. So this is just me going ahead and painting on a lot of iron wash. And then once you finish painting it, you have to take off the iron wash because the excess of it just doesn't look good after it's fired. So I go ahead and take all this off with a sponge and dip it in water. The water looks red because it's just been mixed with iron wash. And then once I do that, as you can see, it's giving more of a tree bark look, and it's kind of got shadows on the outside of it, so it looks good. So now with this ivy glaze, we're going to go ahead and paint all the leaves and vines that the flowers are coming off of. I have not used this glaze before, just opened it as you can see, so I'm not totally sure how this is going to show up on these vines, but I'm really hoping the green looks the way I'm hoping it will look. I didn't test tile it or anything, so we will see. But this is a very careful process. Got to make sure the green stays exactly on the leaves and the vine part and nowhere else, because if it gets anywhere else, it just doesn't look right after it's fired. So I do this process with a lot of caution. And that is what it looks like after 3 coats of green glaze on the leaves. So next we're going with a little lavender mist, and I'm going to go ahead and paint this on 2 of the 4 flowers on this mug. So at first I was painting these flowers with like just the flower petals, and I was going to put the yellow dot on the inside for the pollen part. But that became very cumbersome and I gave up that thought, and I'm just going with just lavender looking flowers, and I'm hoping this will look good, but we will find out. And then to get the underside of the flower petals, I thought it'd be a good idea to take a piece of paper, and the paper would stop the glaze from touching the bark part of it where the glaze isn't supposed to be. You can't really see it that great in this video, but this actually didn't work out that well, and it actually wasn't that hard to just paint it on my own. So I did this with the first layer, doing this weird glaze paper trick, but I ended up just forgoing this for the other 3 layers on this flower. It was basically more work that needed to be done. So the next glaze we're working with is raspberry mist, and this is more of a pink looking glaze. I don't use these glazes very often, so look at me struggle to open that. It was so hard to open, but we got it open, thank goodness. And then I went ahead and painted each flower that color. As you can see, I already did part of it on this one. And then we're going to go ahead and do the other flower. And I don't really worry about the excess iron wash on the parts that I'm going to glaze, because I found out that when I glaze, the iron wash just kind of disappears. So if you glaze over iron wash, it doesn't matter if it's there. It usually doesn't show up. Even with clear glaze, it kind of just disappears. It's really odd. Alright, the next glaze we're working with is dark green gloss, and this is going to go on all my moss. The moss has been a really fun technique that I've encountered. I was a little worried it might be too spiky, and it isn't even that spiky when I don't glaze and fire it, but it looks really good. I feel like I've really mastered the texture of moss. I'm very proud of how this moss looks and how realistic it looks after being fired. And lastly, we got, I think it's cinnamon something. This glaze, very faded, but it is the color for the mushrooms. So I go ahead and go over all the mushrooms with this color. It's a very nice brown that seems to work well with the mushrooms and give it like a lifelike mushroom look. So Very happy with this glaze. When I bought this glaze, I hadn't used it for a very long time, but turns out it's quite helpful for mushrooms, so I'm glad I got it. So once I finished the mushrooms, I go ahead and use smoke for the inside. I'm going to do 2 layers of smoke. And so I go ahead and glaze the inside of the mug, and then I glaze the handle as well in smoke. I've been told that I should make the handles look a little less coffee mug and more like a tree branch, which I've been kicking around that idea. What do you guys think? Should I make it look like a tree branch? Or should I just keep it with the coffee mug look? I kind of like the natural coffee mug look with it, but I don't know. And the last bit of this mug is we're going to do some Aurora Green. And that's going to be the last layer of the inside of this mug. And I love the look that Aurora Green gives when it mixes with smoke. I think it looks really good. And I love just mixing these colors. So go ahead and add that. And this is what the final piece looks like before it goes in the kiln. And let's go ahead and throw this mug in the kiln and see what happens. I'm very excited to see the end result of this. Alright, so it's the next day. I just took this mug out of the kiln. I was going to film outside, but it's just really loud out there. They're doing construction next door. But here is the finished product of this mug. So it's got the flowers, it's got the vine, the moss, flowers. I thought this vine would be a little bit more green, like a bigger pop, but still looks really good. So overall, really happy with this. I think I'm going to explore more of these. I was thinking about doing a flower mug series, like a little series of flower mugs. So let me know if you like the idea of that. I might do that. But yeah. This is the final product, really happy with it, and thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.